Welcome to another APL Spotlight Series episode. Amazing guests the world over with incredible insights, experience, and a lot to share with us. And it's not always about the words and their life stories, experiences, but also their high vibe. This particular offshoot of the Angels Positivity and Love show, which you need to check out, stick around to the end. Guests often take steps with the universe, consciousness, angels, other figures, and even smell sage. And you can do the same. That's why you stick around to the end of these shows. But I have the really fun guests back for an extra deep dive. And today, no exception, Dr. Manon Bolliger, deregistered, retired naturopath, but she's been doing it for 30 plus years. You can see it on her Chiron there on the screen. She's up in Canada. So another one of our foreign or just neighboring guests for the show. She's been on before. She'll be back on in 2026. I love having her on. She's sage. And we've got topics that are way over my pay grade today. So I'm excited to get her going and share what she will. But she is fun. She's an author and much more. Manon, great to see you again.
Likewise. So those picks were just off the top of my mind, right? So, but I guess we're gonna go for it.
Yeah, we're going to go for it. There's two topics we came up with seconds before the show. We were playing around with angels. We had asked one of them to come up with two topics for us. One was sovereignty, which in 250 plus episodes taped and more, maybe 300, I've never had that actually physically come up as a topic. And the other one was sort of our connection to earth, our intuitiveness, our deep, big hearts that we all carry around within. Which way do you want to slice this apple, Minol? How are we going to begin?
Let's go with sovereignty because it's in the end it's deeply felt, but it starts as you still have to understand what it is. So it's a bit of more conceptual, I think.
Take us there. I'm waiting.
Okay. Okay, so I just go explain what I'm feeling and yeah, I mean it really dropped down and I think why is because right now this is what the next stage is all about. You know, many of us have experienced sort of an awakening from many different levels of sleep. Let's put it this way. Some are still asleep, but the point is, we're all here at exactly the place that we need to be. Right. So there's not like, oh, I wish I was more this or less that. We just come as we do, right? And we have different relationships. We have relationships with ourselves, and we have a relationship with others, maybe our family and our extended family, our friends. And then we have relationship with institutions and people that we may have put on pedestals, or that we were taught to put on pedestals. And I think that's really what the shift is now. That what I'm feeling is happening is that we are coming as a society to understand how unbelievably powerful and beautiful and real and yeah, I think powerful is really the right word, but and grounded we truly are. But we have to take that power back. And and we're also being taught that it's not necessarily in the fight, as in there will be fighters and they are necessary. And we need to be grateful for those that are called for those types of actions. There's those that speak more than others. There's those that fight, you know, like literally take the front row. And there's some that just hold the space of new possibilities, and that gently detach by doing something different. You know, there's no better way to overthrow a a system than to have and live an alternative that doesn't feel like an alternative. You know, like a community getting together to garden and to feed each other it doesn't really then matter on some level, whether we're getting this import or that import or whatever might be our issue, or this huge, you know, um, food store. It's like we're changing it locally, which is really having a major impact. So sovereignty is the recognition of this process that, our experts, like it may be the people in our schools that, are supposed to make decisions, school boards about our children. And suddenly, we're finding ourselves not having rights over our own children. They become the children of the state, or by these un, you know, appointed people, but unelected people. And so where does sovereignty stand in that? Sovereignty is recognizing that this just doesn't make any sense. But it's knowing it not from an intellectual perspective only, but just feeling inside of us that no, the children belong to us. We have a say. We've always had a say. And then to take that say, whether it's walking out of these institutions or whatever it is that one has to do in every circumstance dictates slightly different thing. There's not a program, this is how you do it. There's not a sovereignty how to do so. It's really a feeling of taking one's place. And it's also with the medical establishment. It's the same thing. It's being told that we're the little children there and they take care of us and we'll be safe if we just follow the rules. And then realizing that what if they were wrong, simply wrong? Never mind if they were possibly criminal. Doesn't matter. Somewhere in there, we need to feel into, all right, did we come into this planet deficient of a bunch of drugs or a bunch of shots or a bunch of many things, or are we complete? And who's going to tell us what we need? Now, I'm not saying that there aren't people to discuss this with, but that's a far cry from being these little slaves to a system, this sort of non-sovereign approach, this not knowing our strength. So I think that's the shift, is realizing that in the end, it comes to us. And in that, there's a huge responsibility. And I think that's often the weakness. People feel afraid of the responsibility because we haven't been trained to be responsible for our choices, right? Somebody's always going to make it okay, or even if it's not true, we still believe, that that's what's happening. So, yeah, I think this is what the shift is being what I would say radically responsible and seeing where the choice is. So, in a circumstance, instead of saying, I need this, well, I choose to do this or that, to really come back to feeling the choices within oneself, seeing how large they can be or how large we want them to be, right? So I think that's in yeah, a summation of it.
I think that was great. And I can say I don't get to touch on this too often, maybe once again in the last 2.25 years, but I have a public relations background. So I worked at the worldwide, I worked with the press for 16 to 18 years.
Mm.
Financial Times, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Reuters, Associated Press, Bloomberg. Not that I worshiped these outlets, but I really enjoyed it. And I was reading 4 to 5 papers a day for a decade plus. But I mean, some of the outlets changed, and it happened as early as 1998 that I noticed the erosion. And it wasn't just me, it was people in New England commenting on a particular place that they weren't shooting straight anymore. And then it got a little more however, and we'll just say in the last 10 years, I don't recognize it. And I am so thankful to be out of that business for, I think it's back to like 2010, 2012, somewhere in there, 2011 that I
Yeah.
got out. And I don't recognize it anymore. So
No.
it's just one of many industries that you would have never suspected 20 years ago of
Yeah.
not a total collapse, but definitely, if not a collapse, a shift or like, whoa, what's going on here? And it's
Yeah.
not just one or two industries, it's
No,
many,
it's all of them.
and
Yeah.
it's many countries. And
Yes.
so it's a very interesting time that we live in. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that big picture. The universe is all about what first? Is it love? Is it consciousness? Is it awareness? Is it beyond right and wrong human stuff?
I believe so.
Okay, but how do you know? And did you have
Okay,
those
I
experiences?
really wanted to say something
Yeah.
about first your the journalism thing
Oh,
because
yeah.
I think that's a really key point that you bring up, and it's again, we I think we've been brought up to believe that there's investigative journalism because there was, and you didn't have to agree, and you found the sources yourself. Whereas what's happening now, as we can, sometimes you've seen these people mock a little bit the media, and you have every television saying the same thing or using the same keywords, build back better or whatever the key phrase was, it's, and I think this has come as they have released it used to be illegal in a country to use propaganda against its own citizens, but they actually overturned that and made it legal.
And is this in
So
Canada?
suddenly,
Canada.
in the
In the
United
US.
States,
Okay, got it. Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
so
They did repeal that, and I forgot when. It could have been in the 80s, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, it was somewhere. I think I'm not sure, but it late 80s maybe. I think same in 86 they repealed the vaccine one where there's no liability. Like again, it's like you can't ask people to be fully responsible when you don't have all the information either, right? So it's very much tied into the science, or is it a scientific discussion? Like imagine if things had not been censored, how much discussion there would have been. That's where that feeling, people who are saying, well, sovereignty, I have no idea how to get there because I just hear one point of view, basically. I think we need discussion. We need different points of view, and we need to coexist with different perspectives. We might have different values. We might. But I do think that, and this is back to your universal question, I think as a humanity, I think there are things that connect us. I think love is one of those elements. Um, I think that idea, there's some people are saying it's, we're in a battle of evil against good. I can certainly see that as more things are surfacing. But I think that most people are generally good. I think we can recognize that in each other. And I think one of the things that has been lost a lot is trust. And that's because that has been so deeply eroded. But to really trust another, which is a type of love, it's really being able to see humanity as essentially good again. And I think it's been more difficult because so many undercurrents, and whether it's financial or control issues or ego or whatever it is, are dominating or were dominating the scene. And and I think this is where we separate individually when we decide that it's time to take our power back. But how we do that is in part by this grounding and this deep intuition that everyone has intuition, but we don't know how to practice it. We don't know how to connect to it. We don't know how to trust it.
Or you're using it every single day and really successfully. You don't recognize that that
And you
is
don't see
the
it.
reason for your business success or your backgammon success. You're the one who always throws in the family three doubles in a row and no one can ever beat you. And you just don't know that it's that simple, that you're just
Right.
trusting your gut.
Yes, and I think that you're absolutely right there. Most things in the end are really simple, but because they're simple, we don't recognize it, and we're not grateful to ourselves. You know, like
I was going to mention one last thing about the PR thing is I was getting paid CEO pay at the peak. I was at $1 billion law firm in my last 4.25 years. And I did in a single year, I set up 1,100 media interviews, reporter
wow,
on one side, expert on the other, mostly lawyers, sometimes venture capitalists. The guy who did Snapple, Thomas H. Lee, who I think has passed over, one congressman and one EU of the EOC, one of those organizations, very big organization in Europe. Um, I got him a few interviews, but I would be sitting in the Financial Times, bring my experts over. But this is back in the day when Chrystia Freeland, if I said the name correctly, would be there. She was kind of one of the top two or three in the New York bureau. I sat with Kara Swisher when she was at the Wall Street Journal. There's a three-name fellow who's still doing business in the business section of the New York Times, but I used to put people maybe 12 times on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, just little brief mentions on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But it was a big deal back then. This is
oh,
the 90s, 2000s, did the Lehman crisis, did Enron, some other
well,
stuff. But one of the guys who helped put stuff on the front page for me, he was the actual guy doing the work. I would just pitch the idea, bring the expert who would back it up, and then we'd get a little mention. Glenn Simpson, who was Fusion GPS and is probably like hiring a few lawyers right now. So, whoa, I mean, boy, has everything changed because I won't even look at any of the newspapers. I don't have a newspaper anymore. I love newspapers. I just miss the simplicity of it all. Have a bagel or a bakery item and coffee, put your feet up, be looking at a harbor or a body of water out in the fresh air, read a newspaper. Just not seeming like that's going to happen. But Barry Weiss broke off from the New York Times, started the Free Press. Cheryl Atkinson,
right.
who had been tapped by the government, what's it called, eavesdropped or broke her
Yeah.
computer broken into. She's broken off. Catherine Herridge is broken off from wherever, Fox, now CBS, but now on her own. So there's hope for a lot of these industries. You have doctors that are very public today and
Yep.
learning to be standing on their own 2 feet, not dependent on the insurance industry or other organizations or the state.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to keep an eye out, but without getting consumed by any of this stuff.
Well, and I think that's the dance. It's to realize what is your strength? What is your power in this? What is your role in this? And really question it. Is there more that you could be doing? Is there parts of you that could grow if you took a stand or if you did a little bit more? Or are you really you're being you, and this is the you that I wouldn't say you're comfortable with because I always like to sort of expand a little bit past the comfort zone. Otherwise, you get complacent and then you go backwards. I think if you're not actively going a little bit, taking a little more space, you're regressing without knowing it. Just the way time and space works. That's how I see it anyway.
And you help people to tap their intuition, but you're doing it in a more formal, structured way because you're helping nurses, doctors, and many other forms of executives out there. But could you fill in the rest of that, how you're helping people?
Um, I think it's both the patients or the clients as well as the practitioners um, trust themselves more. Like I believe that patients, if given the opportunity, know what's actually wrong,
Mm.
right? And if the attendant, the doctor, whoever, if they took the time to listen, first of all, a lot would come out, but also the solutions are part of everything that's coming out. Some things just need to be stated, and the more you understand um, how people get sick, the more you realize that there's a lot more than drug deficiency. We're not drug deficient. We need either more time to express what's going on in our emotions. We need to reconsider how we structure our lives or our expectations. And some things, yes, they may need adjustments, or you fall down the stairs, you might need something for sure. But it's like, let's take the time to listen to what the patient actually says. Then we're treating the right thing. And then I think as doctors or practitioners is to trust what comes to them. We're trained to come up with a diagnosis. That's it. And every diagnosis, because of the way research is done, has a prognosis, which is the outcome of people who do exactly as told, apparently. But we don't really, it's like we don't have and I was using the word diagnosis, right? I mean, it predicts the die part, right? And it's like, if we were to look at people with a health gnosis, that's sort of the way I look at it. um, what's healthy in them? What works?
Mm.
What could be working more? How do they enjoy life? How could we stretch that part so that, let's say they need more movement? Well, maybe they like to dance, maybe that's the way to get movement, rather than trying to schedule, 3 workouts, driving across the city for an hour and a half and finding that your schedule just doesn't work, or whatever it is. It's more just letting your own intuition guide you in how you're listening to them. And I often say I get downloads.
Mm.
I wow, it's like, oh, I got it. I've got this. I won't say it right away until the patient will speak and say their truth. And then I'll say, have you considered this? And then either it's like, oh, wow, I've got shivers. This is exactly what I'm feeling. Or, it's like, no, let me think about it. Or sometimes, no, it's not, it's not jiving at all. Then, okay, fine. You learn, right? But it's trusting that there's a relationship that's happening as well.
Mm.
And I think we all heal in relationship on one level or another.
And what you're describing, I'm about to finish this sentence. Andrew Ross Sorkin was the New York Times business reporter that I forgot the name of. I blanked. He
Uh,
has a little dagger in one of his eyes, and that it's multiple colors. I've never seen anything like it. You'd have to be close enough to notice it, but he has like a iris that has like a little triangle at the top.
uh,
It's unusual. Never seen anything like it. Very charismatic. Still at the New York Times today. But I wanted to say everything you've been describing up to now is reminding me of different cultural healers around the globe, whether it's indigenous or other, and how they take the time to feel the situation out and bring
yeah,
something else in. Even what Eckhart Tolle talks about,
yeah,
holding presence or consciousness and letting more come in
yes,
to allow
yes,
for conclusions.
correct. It's holding the space, because again, the space is not finite. And it really expands the more you can hold it. So that's why, to me, we're always participating in our journey. It doesn't matter which side of it. I've been the patient and I've been the doctor, right? And I
We
could
need to
see the
mention
journey
that.
was.
Actually, we need to mention that because your first appearance in 2024 or second appearance, somewhere in there, you described literally like a near-death experience. You had gotten a prognosis, you had a white light come in. People need to check out that episode. I should remember to put that in the video details, but anybody can go to my website, go to the Angels Positivity and Love show itself. This is the APL Spotlight series, this one, but they can just find you with your cover album, click on it, it'll take you to the show. But oh my God, you have just these incredible experiences with, we'll call it angels, universe, consciousness. Woof. I mean, literally one of the best, most detailed accounts. So we should have probably mentioned that at the start of this show, but it's okay. And let's get back to that. So everyone really does have an intuition, and it doesn't, trusting your gut, trusting the flow of life, trusting the force, Luke. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
Okay, well, I would say too, there's a distinction between a gut feeling and an intuition. And I think that's important. And the way I would describe the difference is um, I always say that healing is not a fear-based activity. Okay, number one, right? So when you have fear, and that's where the gut-based reaction will come in, is when you sense fear. Now, that doesn't mean don't check out why you sense fear, right? You may have a gut feeling that is absolutely dead on, and you should trust your gut. But to me, a gut feeling is more fear-based. It comes in the context of that sympathetic system that takes over and then reacts, which is why we can run or we can, duck and hide or whatever we want to do. But intuition is more of a surrendering state, more of a grounded, letting go, opening. I would say if you were to compare it to sympathetic, it's more of a parasympathetic state. You're really allowing um, things to come in. You're allowing your connection or your antennas to the universe to open up and go, okay, I'm getting messages here. I'm feeling something. That's more the feeling of intuition.
And this is a good time to put a little bit of it to use or in practice. So if you haven't watched the show before, sometimes we light sage. It doesn't matter where you are, what year it is. It could be 2 years later. You're in Germany or Tokyo or somewhere, and you just get to catch the sage. It's sage smoke, but even if your schnoggin is broken or you haven't smelled anything for a few years, you're that one in a million person who can't smell. It's okay. It's your heart doing the smelling. So actually let the universe bring you the smell of sage. And once you get sage, close your eyes at home, catch flowers. It might be your relatives or angels bringing you some sort of flowers. We've done this before. We did it before the show. We know it works. So just to be full disclosure here, but if you need help, set your intent and ask angels to get in here and be your nose for you. Help your heart. Okay, Manon, are you already catching a little bit of sage, even though I haven't really
Yes.
generated any smoke? So some people do that. I'm shocked. There's gambling going on in the big casino in the sky. Okay, here's the sage smoke for real, though, for folks at home. Please put a comment in like, hey, I'm getting the sage. You can check out all the comments on the website or on my YouTube channel. People all the time are saying, hey, I got the sage. Put an emoji down if you're shy. That's fine. And now, are you getting any flowers, ocean, or something else, perfume, cooking smell, cigar? Ask angels to bring you something extra that's unmistakable. What are you getting?
So I'm getting those white Margarets, but I'm getting poppies that are coming up, wanting to dance between.
Yay. And I'll put up an angel for you as well to add to the conversation. Now, the very first one is going to go very high vibe here. I mean, duh, she's an angel, but her name's Joy. She's the emotion Joy, high peppy voice. What's Joy have to add to the mix for all of us? What are you getting?
I'm getting, keep going.
There you go. And then I'm going to put up Charlotte. She'll have something to add as well. What's Charlotte have for all of us?
Yeah, so there I'm getting this time um, to not to forget to take time within.
Hmm. I like that. And that's the best way to get centered again or to get a broader perspective if you've lost your way a little bit, which happens every single day. A little bit of thinking can pull you out of the heart in an instant. Welcome to being human. Okay. Here's Min. She's very oceany, soft-spoken professor. What's Min have as a reminder for us all?
Mm, interesting. Uh, It was I had two things coming through. One was relax and let go, but the other one is not to take And it was either yourself too seriously or things too seriously.
Hmm.
I didn't quite get clear on that one.
Probably both, but we'll have Michael come in, Archangel Michael, to split the difference. And releasing the age-old burden of self-importance is part of everyone's journey.
Yeah,
It'll happen on the last breath, I guarantee you.
for sure.
Exactly, for sure. Okay, what's Michael have? It might be humorous and very relaxed.
I just got a big hug.
Oh, I like that. And we, again, on the other shows, we've hit on a lot of little stuff. It's starting to come back to me now. So people do need to check out those. You've shared so much here. And again, I'll put those links in and be sure to do so. Okay, four archangels. But if at home people want to do this, don't make a fire, make a circle. Manon, can you do a circle for 3 seconds? Okay, and that's good. You haven't done that in 10 years since you were 22. Here's four archangels for you: Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. There's three more I cut off camera: Shamuel, Zadkiel, and Jophiel, if you really want them in there. Here's something from them, but more importantly, all the words in the world are kind of limiting, but it is a podcast. I got to talk, and you got to talk, and we got to do it this way. But ask for a huge amount of love whooshing around you. And there's probably a better way to say it: high vibe. Bubbles as if it's dolphin consciousness coming in. We'll do them next and go back to a linear show. But here's four archangels. Get whooshed a lot and have something come out of the whooshing. And what are you getting out of all that you want to share?
Uh, well, I just got, you mentioned dolphin, but I was already into dolphin world because I believe this is one of my incarnations was as a dolphin. And in the work I do, when I touch bodies or touched bodies, because I'm not practicing anymore, um, I would actually hear, because it's a frequency work, but I could actually hear whether energy went through or not, or where the blocks were. And so when I would teach this technique, I would make noises to tell people, it sounds like this. And I would make these kind of somewhat high-pitched noises. So I've got a whole bunch of people making those noises, but I didn't know that they couldn't hear. I didn't realize that it was a gift. So I've got people acting like dolphins, dolphins.
Oh, I love it. Uh, I'm going to put up my photo of a dolphin to represent dolphin consciousness. Since we last interviewed, dolphin consciousness came in maybe August of last year. I think we were in the spring or summer, early summer of last year. But
Right.
there's
Yeah.
elephant consciousness, horse consciousness, whale consciousness as a collective, and dolphin consciousness versus more spirit guide, or if it was jaguar spirit, that's a little different, or the tiger out of India that the Divine Mother rides on, that's more deity like. Here's your typical dolphin. But if you don't mind having Joy pal around with this, Joy will be the pink dolphin that is part of this cabal or band. If you don't mind closing your eyes and seeing a lot of dolphins and breathing extra, shoulders up and down counts as breathing extra at home, folks. I don't care if you're a professional nose breather, but if I say 80% of the folks out there, 1 millimeter for the mouth counts. That's plenty. Just don't keep the lips shut if you can help it. Shoulders up and down, you're doing it right. Meanwhile, you're a professional breather. You've been doing it your whole life. But let dolphins come in. You might see the ocean. You might see a beach. You might see a pink dolphin jumping out of the water. You might get bubbles all around you, even though, of course, you're not in a pool watching the show right now. But and a yawn is great. That's released. Angel yawns don't cover. Anything that you need to let go, it'll be a little tear, it'll be a release or a shake in your body. Sometimes there's a fourth or fifth way to let go. But have the dolphins come in. I mean, look, I think someone said they've been around a million years. We had Roberta Goodman on, who is kind of your whale dolphin guide, and check her show out. I think it was September, October last year, November. She was wonderful. We're having her back on. What are you getting from dolphins? First of all, did you feel it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yay. Okay, tell us more without going eek, 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 eek.
Okay, you mean with human words.
Yeah, with human words.
Um, oh, I really got this sense of the collective healing
Mm.
and also just this feeling like, I mean, there's lots of technologies that we have that have existed that we have not had access to, that we will be getting access to, that is
You
going to
said it.
shift things.
Yeah. Well, hey, a government spokesperson for some government in North America said, hey, we've kind of beaten time and distance. Like distance is no longer a factor anymore. And that was a subgroup of, maybe the Pentagon or something, but it was a public statement by a government official, which was a real cue that something is up, or a clue that something is up. When a government spokesperson says, hey, distance really isn't such a thing anymore. Now, we're not talking highways and getting to work and everything, but they've cracked the code for the whole
Mhm.
time and space thing. You're not going to get in the PhD exams anymore if a bullet train is going one way at 200 miles an hour and another one's going 250 or 250 kilometers an hour. What's the time? Blah blah blah. Now that you're already in Chicago.
Yeah.
So being a little facetious here, but talk to us a little more. Have on the galactic cosmos front. Let's just back up and do it the easy way. Are we alone in the universe? Are we the number one smartest kids on the block?
No, sir.
You didn't share any of this before. Have you had a moment where you might have seen something in the sky, had a dream, gone somewhere, or what else? Maybe bumped into someone who was not an angel with sparkly eyes, but someone else. If you need a reminder, by the way, I'll put up two angels for you, Joy and Charlotte. Sometimes people get a little jolt and go, oh my God, that stranger at the coffee shop 3 years ago.
Mhm. Well, I feel it very tactilely. I feel like, oh, and then I look and it's like, oh, okay. Or it's sometimes sitting beside me and it's like I feel like the bed has shifted. Um, Occasionally I'm a little bit taken back because it's so real that I'm move, or I have actually screamed, just because like, what, it's so real. But most of the time, it's almost like the wind, it's there. I don't feel any threat by it. I feel like, oh, it's just there's a lot of people in the room. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. I was sitting on this couch watching TV the other night and our household's asleep, but I saw at that doorway, I saw not a shadow go by. It wasn't negative, but it turns out it was a relative passed over across the street. It was just passing by to see what the action was. It's a bright, happy house. And so it was just all I saw out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, wait a second, no one's up right now. Who was that? So it was kind of battle stations, and then I'm saging the house later. But the point is, I always overreact. But I'm also clueless until I've been told 200 times, and then I get it. Let's do this. I'm going to suggest six different galactic type beings that are all unconditional love and above. I'll name the six categories, but I'm going to leave Joy and Charlotte up as sort of your guides for who, and you'll just know an Arcturian, a Pleiadian, Heinrich Erich, a Lyran, who's wonderful, a woman from Sirius, who's, oh my God, green outfit, pinpoints of light, consciousness, tight with forests. A woman from Andromeda, and there's one more, Sirius, Andromeda, and Orion. There's, I think that's three women there. Did one of them jump out? Did I get it right? Andromeda, Pleiades, Lyran, and then yes, Andromeda, Orion, and Sirius. How about the woman from Sirius? But what do these two say? Keep it to yourself, but then if you could decide which one leapt out at you.
Yeah, I think the Palladian.
Okay, so the way I'll describe him, and you'll shut your eyes in a second, allow him to come in, is not standoffish, but obviously very loving, male figure. But if you and I were five running along, we tripped and fell, he's not going to come running over and pick us up. He does the other type of love, the higher level of like, give us the experience of brushing ourselves off. And, obviously not ignoring us. But close your eyes. It's Heinrich Erich. His real name is so many more syllables, but it's an approximation. If you don't mind, hand off your face, sit still, let a little extra light in. If you want pink light and joy to be there as the ambassador, just being like, hey, he's okay. You can feel him come in. And anybody who needs extra help, breathe through the mouth. You'll let your whole field get involved and you'll go beyond words, but he can do it through visions, light symbols, plain English, like, hey, bub, 1920s style. Except that's right. I love drawing on movie and television and stuff like that. I cannot do that on today's show. And he'll share something that's public consumption because you're having an experience. Um, what's something you can do a takeaway for all of us that has relevance? Oh, and first, you got to tell us what's going on. What did you see? What are you feeling? And I know I'm interrupting, but it is just show, so I got to bring you back a little bit. What'd you feel? What happened?
Um, so, oh, I don't know the words for this. It's like I think is gallantry an English word?
Yes,
Okay,
gallantry is that ability to be brave in the moment.
right. Okay, so there was that with this mutual kind of uh recognition and respect. Like there was bowing and there was hand holding and not hand holding exactly, but close.
Aw, I like this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Talk to us a little bit about the importance of compassion, kindness, gentleness, not worrying about all the details all the time. How is it sometimes the fastest way to get to here?
I mean, I think compassion is the heart, right? I mean, it's like joy is the champagne aspect of it. It's that over fuzzy, bubbly thing, and compassion is the silent part of the human experience, the gentler part, the one that is not effervescent but is connected. Um, it's how you feel others.
It's the champagne glass itself.
That's too hard.
Okay, I'm gonna read you five different quotes about compassion and let whichever one or three jump out at you and then take us somewhere. This is all from angels for the most part, although now that I said that, Jesus said around 2014, "What's compassion about?" He was asked. He said, "Open eyes and open heart." Raphael, Archangel Raphael said, "Compassion is releasing fears and judgments." An angel named Mac, don't call her Mackenzie, said, "Compassion is treating every moment with the awareness of a newborn baby." And
Mhm.
my dad, passed over since 1970, said, "Love where you are and trust that all is good." Which one or an amalgamation of all those strikes you?
Mm. What was the third one again? Sorry, I just
Uh, treating every moment with the awareness of a newborn baby.
yeah, I think something like that with non-judgment, the ability to um and I think
Number
that was
two,
the
yeah,
second one.
compassion is releasing fears and judgments.
Yeah. So I didn't get so much the fear, but it's the judgment part. The yeah, compassion doesn't come from a judgment place. It's like, let's say if judgment is the veil in which separates you, it'd be without the veil.
I love this. You kind of sparked me here to bring up Thich Nhat Hanh. So I have a fabulous photo of him. He's super gentle. And voila. If you don't mind allowing for an incense from a Vietnamese temple as if it's 10 meters behind you, very strong coming in. And he just has a way with words, very concise, short, sweet, uplifting. What are you getting? What are you hearing? What are you smelling? Breathe, 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 breathe. No try Yoda. I'm gonna do Yoda's voice to distract everybody. And I've got my iPhone blocking the way so I can get away with this. Do do not. There is no try. And now what's Thich Nhat Hanh coming in and saying besides he's a ham?
I'm getting love is the way.
Oh, I love that. And he has that book, Pieces Every Step. And I had this huge epiphany. It's been around forever. I read it like, I feel like I read it like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. But I had a huge epiphany on a run. And I love my epiphanies because they last all of the moment that they come. And then they're gone, and I'm left wondering. But it was like something like peace really is every step. It's every opportunity is every moment is your opportunity for more peace. And I don't know what else it was, but it was big on the run, and I noted it, and I can remember it at this moment, but I don't have anything else to say on it. Did you get some incense from a temple around you in the room without having lit anything? Did you get anything olfactory?
I possibly.
Okay.
It was very short. If so, it was like um I think it became in a moisture air after you started speaking.
Okay.
I don't know if I can explain that right, but
What what else to remember? Because in a way, that's the name of the game. And literally in 14 years, I thought I had one thing that was original because everyone has said everything with human words.
a million times,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I thought my expression of remember to remember, if you can remember, to remember, when you remember was original. But no, Songyal Rinpoche in one of those 100 Tibetan Book of Dying books, he didn't author this one. He was doing the preface or the foreword to someone really famous. And it was only a page and a half, but it fell off a shelf. I think I've had two books fall off the shelf. This is one of them at a bookstore, and it turned to this page, and it says he signed off with "Remember to remember." I've been teaching my students that for 35 years. When I saw it, I was crestfallen. I was like, "Is there nothing that's sacred that I came up with originally on my own?" Because it was kind of, I think Chogyam Trungpa gave it to me. So remembering is really key. But what are we supposed to remember? And more importantly, how are we forgetting all the time? What's this all about?
I'm actually not sure I'm following you.
We're up in the brain so much, and the goal is to almost be in the heart, be in the moment, be in the present, be in the now.
Yeah,
And we forget everything all the time. We get caught up in details, politics, health crisis,
right.
this, that, other
Okay.
stuff. And so if we could remember to be present, if we could remember more often, even 7% less thinking a day is what Charlotte said, is the gold medal of the Olympics for all of us. You don't have to
Yeah.
suddenly be enlightened and levitating instantly.
Well, I think it's the remember piece or the mind part that was distracting me because I'm seeming to have issues with memory. So
Oh, well, it was
I'm
kind of
like,
ironic that that was exactly your reaction in the moment.
yeah, I was like, what is it now? Because I hate to say this, but it's the truth, and well, that is the truth. I'm so used to not remembering names in particular that I now hear a name, and unless I really practice it like three times, first and second name, it almost goes unnoticed.
Mhm.
So I have to acknowledge that, I don't remember names.
But that's
Um,
akin to phone numbers. Remember the cell phone? Before cell phones came,
oh yeah,
you would have maybe 50, 25, 20 at least phone numbers memorized. I'm not
right.
sure I have anybody's phone number memorized except maybe my own and one other right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're losing it. But if that's the part of the brain that maybe we don't need, see, I don't know if it's the memory we don't need. I think it's more the processing that maybe we over process potentially.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
think I think, yeah. But maybe memory has been like I have this sense that we are going to remember much more in the coming year.
Let's punt to an angel to add a little extra detail there. You don't have to share at all what she says, but I think she's dying to jump in. Charlotte's good with this type of thing. Have her share a little about that and then what you can pass along to us. She's got an Orion background, even though she's an angel today. Unconditional love doesn't want to interfere, but is here constantly. You only have to ask her to get in there. Breathe, breathe, breathe at home. No triota. Ask for a hug. Feel a hug on your back. 1 million ways to feel a hug. Put a hand out. Treat her like a fireplace. Ask her for a flower smell. I don't have to light sage for you to smell sage. Just ask her to bring it to you. And I bought as much time as I could, Manon. What are you getting from Charlotte about the big picture for mankind?
Yeah, well, I guess she's reminding me of the slides, and I'm wondering,
Well, hold on. Mudslides are a beautiful drink, alcoholic in Newport, Rhode Island at Inn at Castle Hill, but we're
oh, I don't
talking
know
the
that one.
real mudslides. Okay,
A
not the
different
good
one, a
ones.
different one. No, the ones you can almost, when I went to Turkey, I could almost see it. There's lots of places in the States that you can too, but I haven't been to all those places. Um, yeah, but it's like the materialness and the lack of materialness of our matter, like yeah, I guess I'm feeling, how she's all speckled on the outside, right? And it's like how form can change.
What's that word? Ephemeral or ethereal?
Yeah, ephemeral,
That
yeah.
one, I've lost the word, but I know what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
I have one last figure for you, but I don't have a photo and I won't need it. It's a light being like Seth from the 1970s. If anybody remembers Jane Roberts, the New Age thing. He's wonderful. He's even more crystal clear than it's portrayed in the books, but a little shy. You only see him as a Cheshire cat up in the sky, not a smiley face up in the sky. One of the rare figures out of like 300 that won't show full on. I have a Grace light being for you. She's enthusiasm, orange light. This one, if you don't mind just doing something with your hands, like you're at a concert off screen, anything with your hands, just so they're not sitting in your lap. Close your eyes, breathe extra for me. Let orange light come in, but she's very light, like enthusiasm. Duh. That's like my favorite thing. Let her come in and just do a little extra for you, but it'll give you some drive for a final topic here for us. Did you kind of connect with her?
Yeah.
Okay. And you could feel it. It's kind of akin to dolphins a little bit, like very spunky. What'd you get? First of all, you connected to Grace the light being, not Grace the angel. She's rainbow light. Grace and Grace are fantastic. Not knocking either. What'd you get from Grace the light being?
Um, well, for one, she kind of came in on a magic carpet.
Hey, you heard it here on the show, and I know it's a lot for folks if you've made it this far, but this is where you just got to go with it. It's like being in kindergarten again. You got 19 different types of materials you can color, you can glue, you can paint. You got to be very loosey goosey to just like let it be how it is. See, she came in that way, and
I honestly, that's where it kind of stopped. It's like I was laughing because, again, there's a name. I wasn't raised with a television. I don't have a television. I don't know movie stars. I'm completely illiterate in that
I
field.
figured this out. I love doing TV and film references, and you were like
Right.
blank
And
on.
I'm looking at you blank because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, we're not doing that today at all. And I love that stuff. So I could not consume more American TV or alternative TV. It was like chocolate or M&Ms or
Yeah.
Coca-Cola. Can't get enough of that stuff. I mean, you just don't get that anywhere else. So, okay. What's a good reminder for us all as we go through the months and years ahead not to worry too much, not that this is the end of everything, blah, blah, blah. What
Mm,
what would you want people to take to heart right now? That's the most important thing. But Manon, this is Manon
mm.
Bolliger coming to us from Canada, giving us sacred words of wisdom. What are they?
Well, I'm going to use my little statement, which I haven't seen yet somewhere else, but that may be because I haven't read it anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, you do read
So,
them, so okay.
well, yeah, occasionally.
Exactly. And you've got voluminous books, by the way. You've
No,
got quite the pedigree for your background.
but it's how you live is how you heal.
Oh,
And why I like that is because the real problem is that people have is how do they want to live, right? Because we're focused on healing this and healing that, whatever. Focus on how you want to live.
that's genius because the downtime or just be the way you would like to be. And guess what? Eventually you're doing it not 10% or 1%. You're
Yeah.
actually up to 50 to 90%, maybe even daily, the whole way.
Yeah. Well, it's the consciousness of like, am I enjoying who I am? Am I loving this moment? Am I am I seeing the good in this situation? Am I, it's the questioning of when you're questioning, okay? When it's actually silent up there, leave it alone. Just enjoy it. But I think that's the thing is if you're going to go into any questioning, how are you living? How are you choosing to live this moment?
Oh, I love it. And you're still getting stuck with the final exercise, and I love how I put that. You're going to give us a mantra and repeat it 3 times so that people can pick up on your vibe, play it back if they want to. They can put their hands up and feel your vibe. I'll buy you time. Don't worry. I'll tell a dad joke. I'll show my light with this as the background. You're going to have time. I'll even put up Joy and Charlotte to help you out with your mantra. Whoop, that's 4 archangels. Hold on. I'm looking for a pink ball light. Anybody seen a pink ball light? Here's join Charlotte for that mantra, which is probably already jumping out at you. But here's the most important thing of today. Dad joke. Where do rainbows go when they're bad? Prism, but it's a light sentence. Okay, and I know I'd already told you this joke before the show. So catch a little bit of light between my fingers. This is seeing auras, universal consciousness, blah, 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 whatever it is. You'll see a little filament of light. Is it green, gold, yellow, white, clear? What are you seeing between my fingers?
Mostly clear, a little bit of yellow.
Okay, now I'm going to go bigger, but let's blame angels for this. Don't blame Canada. Ask all the angels and loving beings, galactic and otherwise, to come in and do. Is it a ball of light, geometric? Is it a flower? Is it oiseau? What are you getting? Any extra light? Let the universe step in and do extra. What are you getting?
I'm getting prisms, like yeah,
Awesome.
like yeah,
And it was a
rainbows.
good dad joke if it mentioned the word prism. Go figure. Okay.
Go
Now,
figure.
the time is up. That time glass
Yes.
thing, we turned it over. We do board games though. Turned it over, and now spotlight's on you. Before we sign out, what's your mantra that you're going to say 3 times in a row? And is there any significance to it? You want to give the backstory first?
Oof. Just to be clear, you're asking me to come up with
Yeah, it could be
a
just
mantra that I
love more, allow more, show love always. Love, 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 love. Ben Stiller and the Heartbreak Kid, but you haven't seen that movie. Okay. What's a final reminder for us all that you would love to pass along, but you're going to say it 3 times so people can pick up on your vibe. And we had a little interference there, so this must be big, and the universe is coming in big because you froze a little, or maybe I froze. I don't know, but you're not going to freeze now. So what's
okay,
your
well, okay, so it's not mine,
that's
but
okay.
it's really significant. It's is this loving to me? Is this loving to me? Is this loving to me?
Wonderful. Manon Bolliger in Canada. It is always wonderful to see you. I'm very excited about that mantra. Thank you for sharing everything today, and thank you for being such a good sport with everything else. Great seeing you.
Yeah, likewise, and thank you. It's always fun. All right.